There is a medrash on the posuk Bin ishbati neum Hashem Yam ki osiso es hadover hazeh. HaKadosh Baruch Hu said to Avraham Avinu, I swore, says the Rabbeinu Shalom, because you have done this thing, the Akeida Yitzchak, on this Bin ishbati, the Medrash says that Avraham Avinu begged the Rabbeinu Shalom after the Akeida, please do not test me anymore. Swear to me that you will not test me any longer. The last, I have stood on 10 nisyonos, and this is the last one. I want it to be the last one. The Rebbeinu Shalom acceded to his request, and he said, Bin ishbati, I swear to you that that is the last nisoyon. So, all the time, when I met this medrash, I had a question. Why, Poshut, Avraham Avinu, it seems, Avraham Avinu is tired of this yoyness. Had enough. I want some peace now. That's how it seems, at first view. But this is not possible, to explain the medrash like that. That Avraham Avinu was just tired of nisyonos, and he asked HaKadosh Baruch Hu to swear to him he won't give him another nisyon. It's impossible. Because we find later on by Yaakov Avinu, Bikesh Yaakov Leshev Shalvo, Yaakov Avinu wanted to have peace from the nisyonos after he had come back from Lavan, from the danger of Lavan, from the danger of Esav. We find that Yaakov Avinu wanted to have peace. Bikesh Yaakov Leshev Shalvo, but HaKadosh Baruch Hu didn't agree with this wish of Yaakov Avinu. Lo dayan la tzadikim sheyesh lohem olam habo, as the Medrash says. The Rebbeinu Shalom said, is it not enough that the tzadikim have got peace in olam habo? They also want peace in olam hazeh? There is no such a thing. Miyad, straight away, HaKadosh Baruch Hu kofatz olav rozeh shel Yosef. Just at that time came the nisoyon that Yosef was sold in Egypt. And Yaakov Avinu, during 22 years, was misabel al benoi. He was mourning his son whom he thought had been destroyed by a ferocious beast. So we see that HaKadosh Baruch Hu doesn't agree if a tzaddik says, I have had enough of nisyonos. Now I want a bit of peace. I want to sitzen ruhig. I don't want any more nisyonos. HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, no. I'm sorry, Yaakov. You're making a big mistake. Olam hazeh, this world is made for nisyonos. That's the purpose of Olam hazeh. If there would be no nisyonos, we don't need to be in this world. So says the Mesilas Yesharim. The Mesilas Yesharim, in the beginning of his Sefer, Perek Aleph, Yisod Chavoso Bo Lomoy, he ends up a conclusion, Nimtzeinu Lemeidi, we learn from all what I said before. The conclusion is, Ki Ha'odom lo nivro bo Olam hazeh, man has been only created, only put into this world, Olam hazeh, ki im lekayem mitzvos, just to fulfill mitzvos, ve'la'avoid, and to serve Hashem, ve'la'amoid b'nisoyon, and to overcome nisyonos. So we see that's the purpose in life, is HaKadosh Baruch Hu created such a world which a person gets tests. He gets tested. And the more a tzaddik he is, and the more nisyonos he gets. As the Pasuk says, Hashem tzaddik yivro. HaKadosh Baruch Hu chooses Davke the tzaddik to test him more. the Medrash says the Moshel with the one who sells jars made of earth, of clay. So when he wants to advertise his merchandise, that he is making very good, very strong jars, so he takes the one which is the strongest and he beats on it with all these koiches to show people, look what kind of strong kalim I'm making, so buy from me. The same HaKadosh Baruch Hu, he chooses Davke the Tzaddik to give him more nisyoides. Another moshel with the gomel, the camel, the one who leads a caravan and he has to load his camels, he will choose the strongest camel to wear the heaviest load. And so it is. The more a person is a tzaddik, and the hardest is an Israel. You want to know what is your value in tzidkus? You want to measure yourself, how big a tzaddik you are? Look at your nisyoides. If you have strong nisyoides, that means you are a bigger tzaddik. That is the measurement. That is the measurement of the Chazal to see if you are a strong camel or a weak one. If you are a strong tzaddik, HaKadosh Baruch will put a big load. We are not asking. We are not asking that. No, I'm moichel. I'm moichel. I'm moichel. Please don't give us nisyonis. But sometimes HaKadosh Baruch Hu does it. So we can't explain this medrash, which I quoted in the beginning, that Avraham Avinu begged the Rabbeinu Shel Olam, he should swear to him that he will not ever again test him after the Akeida. Rabbeinu Shel Olam answered, yes, Avraham, you have done a good thing. B'nishbaiti, I'm swearing to you, I'm not going to test you anymore. What is the meaning of this? HaKadosh Baruch Hu says to Avraham Avinu, okay, yes, you are right. You have had enough nisyonis, and I swear to you, I won't test you again. This demands an explanation, this medrash. So, when we read this parsha, which we read today, Chayei Sorah, something popped into my mind. Something came to my mind. There is a medrash, the beginning of Chayei Sorah, Vayokom Avraham me'al pnei Meisrei. On this pasuk, Vayokom Avraham, and Avraham stood up from the face of his dead, that is, from the face of Sorah Imenu. There is a Medrash Rabbah. The Medrash Rabbah says, Melamed, this pasuk comes to teach us, Shoyo Amalach HaMoves, Matris Kenegdoi. The angel of death was fighting against Avraham. At this situation, Avraham Avinu was mourning, and he came to cry over Sorah, to eulogize her. From this pasuk by Yokom Avraham, the Medrash learns, we learn from here that the Satan, the Malach HaMoves, was fighting against Avraham. From where do we learn it? Because it says Vayokom. Why is it possible to say Vayokom? It said Vayelech b'neches leimo. Why Vayokom? He stood up. Vayokom, says the Medrash, means he had to be mechazik atzmoi, like someone who is slumped on a chair, despondent, miyush, in despair. There's no will to live anymore. And suddenly, he gets up, he says, no, I'm going to fight it. Vayokom, Avraham Avinu, stood up, means he got chizuk. He took himself in a hand. Why do you have to take himself in a hand? Melamed, so he teaches us, because he had a tremendous nisayon at that time. When he was there, mourning on Sorah Imenu, she had just died, so he had a tremendous nisayon. The Satan was matris kenegdos, the Satan was mamish, fighting with all these koiches against Avraham Avinu. What was he fighting? What could he be fighting? She was dead already. What was he fighting? So the Meforshim on the Medrash Rabbah explain the fight was this. The Satan brought into the mind of Avraham Avinu, look, Avraham Avinu, you did the Akeida, yes? Fine, beautiful. Yeah, wonderful, Avraham. But look the price you had to pay. Look the price you had to pay. Here. Sorry, Emmanuel is lying down dead. Because of the Akeida. because of the Akeida, as we know. The Rashi brings the Medrash, the Shliach came, the messenger came, and he said to Sorei Menu, not in a good way, a person has to be able to break the news, even good news. Because he was coming, the messenger, to tell Sorei Menu, you know what happened to Yitzchak, that was nearly slaughtered by his father Avram. But the Sultan made it happen in such a way, it was allowed that the Shliach should speak in such a way to give a shock to Sorei Menu, and from the shock of the Akeida, of the Besoiras Akeida, she died. Yeah? Other people want to say different pshatim in that you can't say that Sorei Menu had a shock, but that's the pshat posh. Anyway, this Meforish, here we see that's a pshat in the Medrash here. Because that's what the Medrash means here. The Sultan came to Avram Avinu and said, look, Avram, what you did. You killed your wife with your Akeida. You are responsible to have killed her. Why did he want the Sultan to put in the mind of Avram Avinu such a thought? Like this, he will take away back not only the merit, the schus of the Akeida, but by taking away the schus of the Akeida of Avram Avinu, he'll be sorry that he had done the Akeida. He'll regret it. And if a person does a mitzvah and he regrets to have done it, then he loses that mitzvah. One has to be very careful of how a person thinks and speaks. You hear people saying sometimes, if I would have known that when I was enrolled in that yeshiva to give shiurim, for example, they would have treated me like that, in the beginning I wouldn't have enrolled. Do you know what he means to say? He means to say, all the shiurim I gave in the yeshiva, I'm sorry that I said them. I wouldn't have enrolled. Or some people say, if I would have known that by going to learn in the yeshiva or in the kollel instead of going to university to learn the job, I would be so poor now because of it. I wish I would never have gone to the yeshiva to the kollel. He has lost all the merit of all the limud HaTorah he has done. It's gefährlich. The Gemara says in Maseres Kiddushin, when a person regrets a mitzvah, then he loses it. Or you hear people not even worse. People saying, no, you are married for how long? Have you been married together? For 40 years? 30 years? 20 years? Right. Now, if you would have known at the time when you were spoken a shidduch like that, if you would have known what kind of married life you would have had, would you have agreed to still marry that husband of yours? And some people say, never. Well, by saying that, she has lost all the mitzvahs she had done during her married life. All the mitzvahs which are dependent on that marriage, having children, having done chesed to her husband, having helped her husband to do mitzvahs, to learn Torah. Just one word, by saying, and you don't have to say it, just if you think it, give up. Just if you think it. And that's what Avraham Avinu, that was here, the battle which Avraham Avinu had to wage against the Satan. Now he's sitting in front of his dead wife. Sorei Menu, the Tzaddikis, his most precious companion. And here the Satan comes and tells him, Avraham Avinu, was hast du getan? Look what you have done. Are you happy of yourself now? Avraham Avinu had to wage a battle against the Satan. Vayokom Avraham me'al pnei Meisoi. He had to take himself in hand. Say, whoa! Get up like you fight an enemy. Go away from me. You're telling nonsense. With the same koiches he had against the Satan, when the Satan tried to stop him to go to the Akeida. Now also he had to fight with the Satan and say, go away you. I know whom you are. You are the Satan. You are the Melech HaMores. You are the Yetzer Hara. I don't want to listen to you. I will never regret the Akeida. Now you understand? All the rest of his life, the Satan kept coming back to Avraham Avinu and saying, no, Avraham, where is Sorah? Where is Sorah? Now you married again with Keturah. No, what kind of children did you have with Keturah? What kind of children? Medon, Shvon. Do they compare with the children of Sarah, which Sarah gave you? No. You don't miss your wife. You know why it is? Because of the Akeida. So all the rest of his life, he already had a continuous nisayon to regret the Akeida. Mamish, till the end. So your mass is connected. Now we understand? Now we understand why Akash Baruch Hu acceded to the request of Avraham Avinu, don't send me another nisayon, because that nisayon is already enough for me to handle. So please, don't send me other nisayonis, because that nisayon is enough for the rest of my life. The aftermath of the Akeida is such a tremendous nisayon, not to regret the Akeida. That, I don't think that the other nisayon, this is enough for me. You understand? Not that he didn't want any nisayonis. Not that he didn't want any nisayonis, he wanted to live in peace. So, Rebbeinu Shel Olam, one bite at a time. This bite is a bit big for me. So please, there's enough job for me on the table. Don't give me something else. And I could say, yes, right, you're right, Avraham Avinu. I agree with you. Being Ishbati, I swear to you, I'm not going to send you any other nisayon, because, like you say, this nisayon of the Akeida, the aftermath of the nisayon of the Akeida, is there's plenty to do for you till the rest of your life. Maybe it's right. Maybe it's right. I'm not imposing this pshat. Just suggesting. There is another pshat. Which we could say to comprehend, to understand this medrash. Why did HaKadosh Baruch Hu agree with Avraham Avinu not to send him another nisayon after that case? A different pshat. The explanation is this. We find a big difference between the nisayon of the Akeida and the other 9 nisayonos, previous nisayonos, which Avraham Avinu had to go through. And this lies in one word. Ve'o Elokim niso es Avraham. The Rebbeinu Shel Olam was Menaseh Avraham. This is only written in the nisayon of the Akeida. It's not written in the nisayon of Lech Lecho. It's not written in the nisayon of the Ro'ov. It's not written in any other nisayon. Ve'o Elokim niso es Avraham. Only in the nisayon of Akeida it is written Ve'o Elokim niso es Avraham. Why? Why just in the nisayon of the Akeida it is written Ve'o Elokim niso es Avraham? The answer is like this. The other nisayonos, HaKadosh Baruch Hu didn't have to tell Avraham Avinu, Avraham, I'm going to give you a nisayon. I'm going to give you a test. Didn't have to tell him. Just told him, Lech Lecho. It's a command. Go away from your place of birth. Go away from the place where you have been educated, you have been grown up. Leave your house. Go somewhere. Where? I'll tell you later. Doesn't have to say, Avraham, this is a nisayon, because it's obvious it's a nisayon. You understand? The nisayon speaks for itself. The Tzivui Hashem speaks for itself. The same also when it comes to Eretz Yisrael, and here there is a big famine. HaKadosh Baruch Hu promised him, Va'avorechecho, if you listen to me, Lech Lecho, you won't regret it. You'll have broches, you'll have parnasa toive, you'll have everything, you'll have children, everything. And here he comes to Eretz Yisrael, he already fulfilled the command of Hashem, Vayiro, the famine. Where's the promise of Hashem? Second nisayon. Because who doesn't say, Avraham, this is a nisayon? Because understand, of course it's a nisayon. That's a nisayon, whether I'm going to believe in Hashem's promise or not, or whether I'm going to be sorry, to regret, to have listened to the Tzivui Hashem. So every one of the 9 nisyonos, right up to the Akeida, if you take them one by one, you'll see that the Rebbeinu doesn't have to warn Avraham Avinu, Avraham, I'm warning you, here I'm sending you a nisayon. Because the fact speaks for itself. The situation in which he was speaks for itself. When Sarah is taken by Paroi, when she's taken by Avimelech, when he has to send away Yishmael with Hogar. All those things, they are nisyones mitzad atzmon. On their own accord, they are difficult times, difficult situations to handle. But in the case of the Akeida, HaKadosh Baruch Hu had to tell Avram Avram, please, I beg of you, kach no is Lashon Bakoshi. Please, I'm going to send you a nisoyan, and I beg of you, stand fast in this nisoyan. Because otherwise, you lose all the other 9. This one is the one that is going to consolidate, to validate all the other 9 nisyoyos. So please, a last effort. Please stand in that last nisoyan. So we have to understand here. Why should that last nisoyan, if he doesn't stand in that last nisoyan, why should he lose the rest? Why? Let's say us, for example. Do we stand in all our nisyonis? Of course not. Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. Sometimes, for example, to get up in the morning, feel a bit tired, so we stay in bed. Maybe it's a nisoyan. But many times I made an effort to get out of bed. So you say, because that one time I didn't make the effort, I lost all the reward for all the other times? Of course not. What does God want to do with the other? Or in Lashon Hara, there is a takon now from Lashon Hara, from 8 to 9 in the morning, don't speak Lashon Hara. And the rest of the day, but it's still a takon. You have to keep that 1 hour. Why? Because when you get used in 1 hour, so you train yourself to watch what you are saying. Yeah? You don't say, well, it's worth nothing because the rest of the time you're not so careful. So what does it mean here that all the rest will be worth nothing? So Pshat, there is a medrash. Avram Avinu, after the Akeida, said to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, B'nai Shel Olam, now that I overcome the Nisan of the Akeida, I want to ask you a question. First you tell me, I'll give you a son Yitzchak. Ki beYitzchak yikoreh lecho Zorah. Right? Then you tell me, take Yitzchak and sacrifice him for me. And then you tell me, no, don't sacrifice me. I don't understand the whole thing. I obey to you, and I want an explanation. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu said to Avraham, yes, I'll explain to you, Avraham. When did I tell you to shecht Yitzchak? Where is it? Vushtatus. Where is it written in my tzivu, in my command? Take Yitzchak and go and slaughter him. I never told you to slaughter him. I told you, Kach no esbincho yichidcho asher after Yitzchak, ve'aleu le'oilo. Make him an oilo, make him a holy sacrifice. An oilo. I didn't tell you to shecht him. You wanted to shecht him, that's your own affair. That was not my intention. The Midrash says. So what does it mean? Didn't Avram Avinu understand the tzivui Hashem? When Hashem said to Avram Avinu, take your only son, and aleu le'oilo, it is HaKadosh Baruch Hu himself who spoke to him. So it was a nevuah, it was a prophecy. And in a prophecy there is no mistake. A prophecy there is no mistake. We never find that the Navi made a mistake in a prophecy. If this is a nevuah mipi Hashem, it must be clear. So it was clear. So Avram Avinu did not misunderstand the tzivui Hashem. It's not the pshat that Avram Avinu made a mistake. Boy Shalom told me to bring him as an oilo. So I've got to shecht him. No, doesn't mean that. Avram Avinu realized clearly that the tzivui Hashem was to make Yitzchak as eilig, as zoivi oilo. Now, let's see. Like an oilo. If I take an animal, I've got cows. I've got a farm, I've got cows. Or I take one cow, or one bull, I say, Arezu oilo. This cow is an oilo I want to bring to Yerushalayim. So this cow becomes kodesh, becomes holy. From that time, I'm not allowed to take the milk. I'm not allowed to make it plow. I'm not allowed to derive any profit from that cow because I made it hektish. This is an oil. The kedushas oil. That's what Avraham Avinu meant. That's what HaKadosh Baruch Hu meant to Avraham Avinu. Make Yitzchak an oilo. Make him holy. But don't shecht him. And Avraham Avinu knows that. That the tzivui doesn't mean to shecht him. He knows quite well. So what does he mean? So what is the Nisayan? If it's just to make my son an oilo, I'll come to Yitzchak, put my hand on his head, say, Yitzchak, my dear son, from now on, you're an oilo. That's it. Or if you want to go even further, put him on the Mizbeach. But that's all. Don't share him. Make him an oilo. Make him holy. So where's the Nisayan? So Avraham didn't understand. What is the Nisayan? Because we have to tell him, Elohim, Nisras Avram, I can have to tell Avraham Avinu, you know Avraham Avinu, this Nisayan is a very big Nisayan. Don't think it's easy to do. Don't think just by putting your hand on your son's head, you are going to do my tzivui. Think properly, because if you do not go through that Nisayan, then all the rest is worth nothing. What does it mean? It means like this. Avraham Avinu was the tate of his son Yitzchak. Now, you know what you are. You are parents yourself. You've got children. When a child comes home, he says, Good Shabbos. Or when you are together at the same table with your grandchildren, do you derive a nachas? Do you shep a nachas from your children and grandchildren? A Yiddish nachas? Of course you do. Nachas of the children, that's the greatest nachas from the world. Now this enjoyment, this benefit, which Avraham Avinu derived from Yitzchak, what was it exactly? You have to analyze it. Is it like a natural, we could even say an animal instinct? Because even the animals enjoy the company of the young. We see the lambs always with their mother. The mother licks their young, they protect their young. And we are also partly animal. And the love of our children is also a part of that animal instinct which we all have. Now, the nachas we have from our children, what is it exactly? Why do we enjoy the company of our children? Why do we enjoy when they are mechabed us? Good Shabbos, mommy, good Shabbos, daddy, Shabbos. Why do we enjoy this? Do we enjoy because they pay us respect? Do we enjoy because we like to see them? Or do we enjoy them because they are tzaddikim? We have brought a tzaddik in the world. We enjoy that he's a Telem Elokim. We enjoy that our children, Baruch Hashem, have been successful, that they should be Oivdei Hashem. And the love of my children is a part of the love of Hashem. Like Rav Dessler says, Rav Dessler asked the question, how does the Torah demand two things which are contradictory? V'yohavtes Hashem Elokecho b'chol levavcho. You shall love Hashem Yisborach with all your heart. That means you have no other love except the love of Hashem. And then the Torah says, V'yohavto l'reacho kamoicho. Love your neighbor like yourself. Now how does it come together? How does it go together? Love your neighbor. Am I allowed to love my neighbor? I'm only allowed to love the Rebbeinu Shalom with all my heart. I am not allowed to love anybody else besides the Rebbeinu Shalom, or anything else besides the Rebbeinu Shalom. Now we love plenty of other things besides the Rebbeinu Shalom. We love good food, for one. What's it got to do with the Rebbeinu Shalom, good food? Huh? I pop a sweet in my mouth. Nice sweet. What's it got to do with the V'achtes Hashem Elokecho b'chol? Let's go back to the children. Is the nachas we derive from our children part of the love of the Rebbeinu Shalom, or is it something selfish? My child, the best in the world. It's a part of our ego. You understand? That was the nisan of the Akeida. In order that the brachas on Klal Yisrael should be fulfilled, ki beYitzchak tikoel lechazora, Avraham Avinu had to purify himself, and Yitzchak as well, from this part of the relationship between father and son, which is animalistic. As the Chovos Avodah says, the purpose of a man in this world is to purify himself from an animal to an angel. You understand? Not that you don't love people, not that you don't love your husband, not that you don't love your children. Love them, but you know why you love them? Because it's a part of Ahavas Hashem. Though all that is inclusive, but who is going to analyze that? Who is going to tell me, yes, I love my children only because of Avodas Hashem? How do you know? Can you demonstrate that? Understand? A sample of blood you can send to a laboratory. They'll examine that blood, how many red corpuscles there are, how many white, and the rest. But how can you analyze your feelings? How can you analyze your feelings? How can you analyze the nachas you get from your children? What is the nachas you get from your children? That was the nisan of Avraham Avinu. Avraham, I want you to make yourself sure that the love you have for Yitzchak is only love to me. It's not an animalistic love. There's a proof to that pshat in the Midrash. Because there is a Midrash Tanchuma that says, when Avraham Avinu was afraid, after the victory he had on the 4 armies, if you remember, HaKadosh said to Avraham, Al tiro Avraham, do not fear. Why did he have to tell him, do not fear? The Midrash Tanchuma says, because at that time, Avraham Avinu was worried, he was afraid. He said, Oy Gewalt, I've come out alive from the burning furnace. I've got a tremendous victory on the 4 kings. Maybe I've received my reward of Olam Habo in Olam Hazeh. Maybe I've eaten up all the reward from all the mitzvahs I made, all the emunah, all the chesed, all the achnas esochin, all the geirim. Maybe I've eaten up my reward from Olam Habo. I've lost it because of all those wonderful nisim who made for me in Olam Hazeh. So HaKadosh said to Avraham Avinu, Avraham, if you are worried, if you entertain such a thoughts, that is a bad thought. You know what you have to do when you have got a bad thought? You have to bring an oilo. What? Kachno es bincho. Take Yitzchak, and this is the oilo you have to bring to be mechaper on your hero, on this bad thought that you had. Maybe you have received your reward in Olam Hazeh. How do you understand that? How is the Akeida Yitzchak a kapore for the bad? Why is it a bad thought? Why is it a bad thought to think Avraham Avinu thinks maybe I've eaten my Olam Habo in Olam Hazeh? It's not a bad thought. Pshat is not. It's a bad thought. It's Avraham Avinu doesn't know whether all what he's enjoying in life, the life he's enjoying, is it only because of Avodas Hashem? He doesn't derive any self-satisfaction for his taivas of Olam Hazeh, from all those nisim, from the Kivshon Ha'esh, when a person has had his life saved from Kivshon Ha'esh, and he can breathe again, says, Baruch Hashem, I'm alive. No, what is this enjoyment? What is it? Let's analyze it. Is it just because I'm happy to be alive? Or is it because I'm happy to serve Hashem? Avraham wasn't sure. He was very honest with himself. He said, maybe I have no Olam Habo because I've eaten my reward in Olam Hazeh. Because Olam Hazeh and Olam Habo is like fire and water. Either I enjoy Olam Hazeh or I enjoy Olam Habo. You can't put the two together. So HaKadosh said, you know what? There is only one way you can analyze your feelings to know what is your enjoyment. This is Oilo on Yitzchak. So it goes together. So you see, that's the pshat. The nisoyer of the Akeida was so that Avraham Avinu should analyze what is his feeling for Yitzchak. And here he was in a big quandary. What am I going to do? I'll put my hand on his head and say, Ya noilo Yitzchak, it's a gelechter. How will that take away? How will that help purify me from my love? Because he didn't fool himself. He realized that if he has to purify himself from his love for his son, which is an animalistic love, which is a normal, you call it human. You call it human. People who lose their temper and say, come on, it's only human. What do you want of us? We're not angels. But the word human is not right. You should say animal. I'm only animal. Don't say I'm only human. You're trying to justify yourself. Say I'm only human. Because that's not what human means. Human means tzelem Elokim. Yisro no odom ala be'emer. The superiority of man on the beast is that a man can control himself, and a beast cannot. So don't say it's only human. Say it's only animalistic. So Avraham Avinu had to do some tremendous peula here, something to uproot his animalistic love for what to do. What to do. So he went step by step. First of all, he chopped the wood, he took the fire, and he harnessed his donkey in the early morning. I'm going to the Akeida. He goes to the Har HaMoriah, and he builds the Mizbeach. And then he thinks of himself, no, has the love of my son already gone away? My selfish love for my son has gone away already, or not yet? No, I still love him. I still love him in a normal way, you would say, the human way. So what to do? I have to go on. He binds the feet and the hands of his son. No, genug. I've got it, you see, I'm ready to share him. No, genug, it's enough. I've given up on the love of my son. No. He auscults himself like a doctor. He auscults his heart. He says, no, I still love him. Not enough. To go further. Takes him and he puts him on the Eitzim. Ala Mizbeach. No? Enough or not? It's as good as geschafft. It's as good, finished. No, not enough. He has no breire. It's a tzivui. The tzivui is to make Yitzchak as holy as a hoiler, that he's not allowed to derive from Yitzchak any enjoyment, any personal enjoyment. And he sees his son, of course he derives personal. Just to look at your son. You look at the photo of your son. It's enough. You look at the photo, oh, my child, my precious child. Already you've got an enjoyment. This is a personal enjoyment. This is not an oiler. Oh, Hashem, our children are not oilers. Otherwise we would be Moel Bekochim. We would be, Moel Bekochim, someone who gets profit from Hektish. It's an Avere, Baruch Hashem. But Yitzchak was an oiler. So he's not allowed to derive from him any personal enjoyment. So what to do? He had no breire but to take the macheles, vayikach ha'macheles, lishot es benoi, gewalt, and he was going to shert him. At that time the Malach said, no, stop. Now it's enough. Avraham Avinu, the Medrash says, Avraham Avinu said to the Malach, who are you? The Medrash Tanchuma. Who are you to tell me not? It's enough. The Malach. No, I won't listen to you. Because when HaKadosh Baruch told me, he himself told me. So I won't listen to you. Then it says in the Torah, Vayiso Eino Vayares Vayil. He lifted up his eyes and he saw there was a ram, and he took the ram instead of his son. So he did listen to the Malach. So why did he say in the Medrash, I won't listen to you? The pshat is like this. Not to shut my son to that sequence of the Nisoyan. The Nisoyan is in two sequences. To shut my son, because he didn't tell me to shut my son. I know he didn't tell me to shut my son. But he told me to make him an oilo. How can I do it? The only way was to shut him. He told me, no, don't shut him. I'll listen to you for that. But I've got another thing to do still, because I still love him. Understand? So what did he do? He took the ayil and shechted the ayil instead of his son. On every action he did on the ayil, he said, this is as if I have done this to my son. You know what it is like? Like the psychologists, they say a refuah for your nerves, if you've got a grudge against your boss, and you would like to give him a good hiding, but you can't. So the psychologists say, you go home, you take a punching bag, you put his photo on the punching bag, and you smash the punching bag with the photo on it. After that, you'll be calmed down. Because it's a substitute for your cast on your boss. No, it's a real advice. The psychologists say it works. It works. It works. Yes, it works. So if for midoro, for cast, the substitute helps, for a mitzvah, like this mitzvah, to make a substitute for the Akeida Yitzchak, of course it works. So the ayil was a substitute for. So we see that after the ayil, then the Malach called him a second time and he said, because you have done this, you'll get all the brachos. Because up to then, he still loved his son. Although the Malach said, don't shech him. The Malach just wanted to tell him, Avraham, you did the right thing, but I don't want you to shech him. Don't shech Yitzchak. I need Yitzchak. The world needs Yitzchak. But what you said, but I still love him, what can I do? And you found the ayil, you shechted the ayil, that you were right in this. And with this, you have detached yourself, you have purified yourself completely. For the love of your son, you are animalistic love for your son, and because of that, now you'll become a great nation, you'll be Mekabel the Torah, and you, and so on. So here we find that this is why it's written, Niso es Avraham. Because at first view, we don't see what the Nisayon was. How to do it. Avraham Avinu had to devise how to do the Nisayon. And then, once he was successful, he made the Rebbeinu knew from that time on, Avraham Avinu had purified himself. And Memele, there's no need to. He had a derech how to make that all his enjoyments in life should be for the sole purpose of Avodas Hashem. That even the love of his son, he used it for the purpose of Hashem. So therefore there was no need to test him another time. So this is what we have to understand. Whenever Nisayon comes across our path, we should realize what is the purpose of the Nisayon. Not just to say, that's the will of Hashem. Not enough. One has to rake his brain to know what the Rebbeinu Shalom wants from me. Not just take the Nisayon as a Nisayon, but to rejoice in the purpose of the Nisayon. Baruch Hashem, HaKadosh Baruch Hu has sent me this Nisayon because he wants to purify my feeling in order to channel all my feelings of joy, all my feelings of achievement towards the service of HaKadosh Baruch Hu.